This is Jenny Bell from Clarington, Ohio, and I'm listening to Barbecue Central.
Start the game! Let's go!
We'll do it live. Okay. Well, do it live! I'll write it and we'll do it live!
So to get that perfect barbecue, you use wood. Are you sure it's safe? Whatever. We put the lighter fluid on, strike the match, and... Oh! Should we call the fire department? That might be a good idea.
All right, good evening and welcome to the Really Big Barbecue Central Show. This is the show that talks about all things that are important to the world of barbecue and grilling. This show originating from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame city, Bomb City, USA, Cleveland, Ohio, the barbecue capital of the North Coast. I am your program host, Greg Rempe. Happy to have you aboard here on your Tuesday evenings, a live fire, fun, and frivolity show. If you would like to get in contact with the show this evening, or you would like to follow the show during off-show hours, here's how you do all that.
You can get in touch with the show by sending an email to Greg at bbqcentralshow.com. Follow us on all the social media channels at BBQ Central Show. And be sure to subscribe to the show podcast feed on your favorite podcast platform.
Anything else you want to find out about the show can be found at the main website, thebbqcentralshow.com. And here's what's happening in case you get the newsletter. It is the first Tuesday of a month, that being the last month of Q1 2025. A monthly visit from our pal Malcom Reed from How to Barbecue Right, pitmaster of Killer Hogs when he does that. Got a lot of interesting stuff to talk about Malcolm with some YouTube stuff. We have some cooking stuff. We have some general knowledge stuff. We have some trending stuff. Maybe throw in a hot honey take. We'll see what happens. So Malcom Reed, first hour. Then we'll move to the second hour, and because it is the second hour, the first Tuesday in the second hour, bringing a visit not only from a guy you would see here each month, but this time around, back-to-back visits, as he sat in last week for a missing John Solberg. It is our pal Sam, the cooking guy, thecookingguy.com. So Sam pulling double duty here in as many weeks. And this time around, a lot more cooking, a lot more video talk, all that fun stuff that you would normally find. Now, I say that to also say, while I do have a working outline of what I think I might want to talk about tonight, that does not mean we will get to some and or any of that. But best intentions are laid right here at 9:03 Eastern. And we'll see where that happens in about an hour and 10 minutes from now. So that's how the show is laying out. A couple show regulars, a couple of the industry's biggest names. Malcolm, hardly any bigger in the barbecue industry. And then when it comes to YouTube cooking or regional cooking in general, certainly no bigger than Sam the Cooking Guy. So looking forward to talking with both of those tonight. Don't forget, you can follow me socially on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Snapchat, and LinkedIn, all at the handle at BBQ Central Show. And of course, we say good evening to those of you watching tonight through one of our video streaming platforms, which can be found at facebook.com/BBQ Central Show, or you can go to twitter.com/BBQ Central Show. You can also watch on YouTube, which is youtube.com/@BBQ Central Show, where we happen to have a YouTube poll question of the week, and we're asking everybody this. On the heels of what was a shocking revelation by the embedded correspondent from the great city of Utah, Rusty Monson, I'm asking everybody tonight, washing any kind of meat is a learned behavior, yes or no? And currently 100% of you are saying yes, that is a learned behavior. You might recall last week, Rusty said unequivocally that he thought washing meat, especially chicken, was a fad, and that this is something that as quickly as it has appeared on social media over the last handful of months will quickly go away, much like every other social media trend, butter candles, smoked Twinkies, whatever stupid nonsense you see people do for a handful of weeks. What's the other one everybody was all abuzz about a couple of years? Smoked cream cheese, right? Rusty thinks washing your chicken and or protein is a fad, is a trend, and that's going to wash away. However, Rusty is wrong. This has long been a hot topic of debate. This has long been a very polarizing topic. Dare I say, outside of current environmental political issues, this could be the single most polarizing topic that you could talk about anybody with on the face of the earth. Do you wash your chicken? Somebody like myself would go, if you're washing your chicken, you have to be a kook. However, somebody on the other side of that argument would say, hey, if you are not washing your chicken,
Andrew, you are
not washing your chicken. So, Andrew, if you are not washing your chicken, then you can't come into my house, or I won't come to your house and eat your food if you're not washing your chicken, or protein for that matter. I also piled on to the thought that if you are one who washes your chicken, Sam, the cooking guy, said, if you're washing chicken, you're probably definitely washing pork. I said, I think if you're washing chicken, you're probably washing every single protein that comes out of some type of package. That would be a steak in a cryovac. That would be, or steak or beef, whatever, in either a cryovac or what you would find in the butcher case already in the styrofoam box with the cling wrap around the top of it. Or definitely chicken, of course. I think if you're washing chicken, you're probably washing everything else. You're not stopping at chicken. That's not the one hurdle that you have to clear in order to get over yourself. But what are you doing? Here, Diane Me in Facebook watching, longtime fan of the show, longtime guest of the show, and the only person who has self-banned when I've talked about horse meat. Diane, been washing chicken for over 50 years. Diane, I say, why would you do it? What are you doing? How are you washing chicken? Soap, bleach? Are you doing the citrus juice and salt rub? Like, you're not really washing it. You're rinsing it, number one. But what is that doing? Like, it's just helping you mentally get over a hurdle that you have about chicken coming out of a package? Am I right to assume, Diane, that then if you are washing chicken, you are also rinsing other protein, steaks, briskets, pork butts, ribs, pork tenderloins, things like this? I have to imagine you are not stopping at chicken. She does clarify, just cold water rinse. So rinsing, washing, also that could be like some people believe that they're doing something to their chicken or proteins when they add the citrus juice and salt. Some people are just doing a rinse. What are you even doing the rinse for? Nothing's happening. This is a topic, as I had said in the beginning of this. A, I didn't think I was going to talk about it this long. B, very divisive. You can have people on both sides of the fence or on either side of the fence. Here's the good news. You get somebody highly evolved as myself, you can tell me that you do that, and I might not agree with it, but I can tell you this, I love you just the same. God bless that you do it. God bless. You keep doing that if that's what you want to do. Not for me, not for most of the people that I know, but God bless you. You keep doing that, and you keep thinking that that might be changing your life in some positive way, and keep at it. Before we get to Malcolm, I have an email from John in Kentucky, not Terry.
Terry?
John. He reached out to me via the fan reaction section on the website, which I believe is in, you have to go to navigate to About the Show, and then scroll all the way down, and then there's fan reaction. How did you hear about us? That's a question I ask you. John writes, just looking for barbecue podcast. What barbecue topic would you like to hear about? John says, more regional barbecue. Any show feedback, I ask. And John says, I enjoy the show every week, especially Robert Moss. Enough that I picked up a subscription to Southern Living magazine and listened to his book on Audible. I enjoy hearing about new products and from the various experts you interview each and every week. Keep up the great work, and not everyone from Kentucky is quite so critical. Regards, John. Of course, John talking about our pal Terry in Kentucky, who likes to write in. John, thank you very much for writing in. We will talk about some regional styles of barbecue. In fact, last year, during the Robert Moss segments, if you don't stretch that far back, we did talk a lot about regionality of a lot of different things, to include some styles of barbecue. So go back into the annals of 2024 and check out the second Tuesday of the month regular guest, 35 past the first hour, Dr. Robert Moss. All right, before we get to Malcolm, let's talk about Pits and Spits. We kick things off with the Pits and Spits griddle, the gas griddle combining the power of a traditional grill with the versatility of a flat-top griddle. Engineered with precision, crafted from top quality materials, this versatile griddle is set to revolutionize your outdoor cooking experience. Constructed of 304 marine-grade stainless steel, fully welded design, the griddle comes with 4 burners to accurately manage your heat zones and gets blistering hot with 80,000 BTUs. Yes, made with the Pits and Spits signature quality, the griddle is designed to last for generations. Now, for those of you building your outdoor kitchen, your ultimate outdoor kitchen this year, you have to check out the new built-in pellet grill from Pits and Spits. Designed for all discerning grill masters who demand top-tier performance, this grill is the centerpiece for any serious outdoor kitchen. From low and slow smoking to high heat searing, this grill can handle it all. Briskets, ribs, pizzas, veggies, you name it. This grill can cook it, and with these Pits and Spits legendary craftsmanship, you can be confident it's built to last. Stainless steel construction on this one as well, and a design that's reliable, that is versatile. So if you're ready to take your cooking to the next level, head on over to pitsandspits.com/BBQ Central. Again, that's Pits and Spits, all spelled out, everything spelled out. Pits and Spits, double T on the Pits and Spits, /BBQ Central, and use promo code BBQ Central for a free spice pack with orders over $500 or more. Easy way to get a free spice pack. Buy a grill of any kind, a fire pit of any kind. It's going to be over $500. Put BBQ Central at checkout. Get that free spice pack. Their steak rub is tremendous, by the way. Shout out to Ryan and the gang over there at Pits and Spits. All right, we're back with Malcolm Reed right after this. Stick around. Be right back.
You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show. Broadcasting live from the Barbecue Central Show studios in Cleveland, Ohio. You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
I welcome you back. This segment brought to you by Fireboard, makers of Fireboard 2, Fireboard Pro, Fireboard Spark, Fireboard Beacon, and the new Fireboard Pulse. When you use the Fireboard app, you have total access to all devices anywhere in the world. Find out more by visiting fireboard.com or call with questions 816-945-2232. The first Tuesday of a month, 14 past the first hour. What else needs to be said? Malcolm Reed. And by the way, Malcolm Reed is a guy that is not only, as I had mentioned in the newsletter, probably the most recognizable face in barbecue. But when it comes time to put in effort on the segment, geez, this guy was muscling through computer issues and connection. Luckily not on my side this time, but still muscling up. Fewer men would have quit 5-6 minutes into it. But Malcolm, as always, Appreciate the time and appreciate the fight to come in.
Hey, good to see you, man. There was a little bit of panic sitting in there for a second, but Tyler showed up and saved me.
Thank goodness for Tyler, the guy that said to me a month ago, hey, you might want to check out what version of Chrome. I did a little research, blah, blah, blah. So not only your tech guy, but evidently part-time tech guy for the Barbecue Central show as well, which I certainly appreciate. And the check for part-time tech is in the mail for Tyler as well. So we have a YouTube poll question of the week, Malcolm, and we're asking everybody this, including all guests tonight. Washing any kind of meat or rinsing any kind of meat is a learned behavior, yes or no?
Yes. I think so. I catch hell on it all the time, man. People bust me for not washing my chicken. And I don't believe in it. You're doing nothing for it. You're not like you mentioned in the first pre-show or whatever. It's just rinsing it. You're not washing it. So what do you think you're doing?
So there are there are replies that are coming in through the instant chat here, and I'll get to those here in a second. So I don't ever recall, this is not a topic that we were going to talk about, but since somebody had mentioned it, now I'm lost in a rabbit hole and we're going to go till my satisfaction because it's my show. I don't ever recall seeing my mom rinse chicken or rinse beef, rinse anything, to be quite honest. So maybe that's where I don't rinse my chicken. That's where it comes from. I don't rinse my meat. But I'm seeing in the instant chat that I'll get to here in a second. Do you recall your family members, your food idols, rinsing any type of protein?
Never.
Nor Rochelle's parents, for that matter?
Yeah.
No.
I mean, that's not something I've ever seen. That was new to me when people started talking about it. I was like, what are you talking about? I always heard it could spread more germs.
Could this be a north-south thing? Could more Yankees be into rinsing protein than Southerners?
I think it's more people that really don't know that much about cooking. So they just think if you throw it underwater, it's going to clean something because it does look, if you got raw chicken, it kind of looks a little bad sometimes in the package. It's got a little, dampness to it, and it's just meat juices. But I guess people get it in their mind, well, if we run it underwater, it's going to clean it up and get rid of that. But it doesn't do anything for you.
So some people in the instant chat that are replying back, because I said, what do you think you're doing if you're rinsing it underwater? You're not cleaning it. You're not washing it. Some guy from Hawaii says just rinsing chicken is what he does to get the gross, drippy juices. So my argument to Lance is his name. My argument to Diane would be get paper towel. Put your chicken on a rack. Get paper towel, blot it, and then if you want to apply this might catch extreme hell from those that are regarded chicken washers. But I say this. Pull it out of the pack. Don't pat it dry at all. Apply seasonings. Your binder's already on there, and then right to the smoker. Guess what? Your life has changed for the better. You're saving money on nonsense yellow mustard and Worcestershire sauce and all this other stuff you might be using as a binder when you have perfectly natural chicken juices that will catch all that rub and make it stick right there.
I'm with you. I feel you.
And by the way, for everybody giving Malcolm shit, leave him alone. How dare you? This guy's a national treasure, and you're giving him hell for not rinsing chicken. I mean, let's all accept what we do and move forward. All right, so I was talking with Sam, the cooking guy, vetted correspondence last week. He sat in for John Solberg, and one of the questions that I asked of everybody was if you thought Sam's channel would get either 2 or crest over 4 million subs. Not with any time frame. I just mean in general. And I thought that might lead into a deeper question that I would ask you tonight. So holding Sam's potential cresting to 4 million, you're in a similar situation, but by half the numbers. So you're almost to 2 million. I have you currently at 1.82 million subscribers as of the first of the month. Do you think that you ever crest 2 or over 2 million subscribers?
I think so. It seems like it is a little bit of a slower climb now, as so many people are becoming creators and there's so much more content. but every day we get new subscribers. And I don't see the fall off as fast as the new subscribers we add. So it's just going to take time. You know, whether I'll get burnout on it and decide to quit or I'll die before I ever get there, I don't know. But I think there's always going to be a steady climb as long as you're relevant, as long as you're putting out decent content. And, you know, as long as you keep going. Where I see people fall off in like YouTube, for instance, is they just stop, or they have these big lulls where they don't create any content, and you fall out of people's mind. You know, you're just not circulated in the algorithm anymore. So as long as you're staying relevant, constantly making content, I think you can steady climb. So it can happen. I think Sam will definitely do it. He puts out great content.
If you were releasing videos 3 to 5 times a week, do you think you would have a quicker climb to 2 million? Or is it solely, as you said, there's been such an influx of creators that it is robbing a little bit from the download pool, if you will?
Yeah, I think we kind of concentrate on all the platforms, so I cut my time up on how much I actually spend creating for YouTube. So if I was to just put all of my focus into one of them, I think I would definitely see it, because, you know, like on TikTok, for instance, we kind of slowed back on YouTube and we built up 2 million on TikTok real fast. So it's possible, but you're trading those subscriber numbers to spread it out over multiple platforms. So that's kind of been our approach at it here lately. We still want to be relevant on YouTube, but also want to be relevant on the other platforms too. And there's just not enough time to create content for, you know, just one specific one all the time.
On a scale of 1 to 10, specifically on YouTube, how much does it matter that you get to 2 million subscribers?
I mean, it's not really important to me. The numbers aren't. I mean, it's great and all, but I mean, what's the difference in 2 and 1.8 or 2 and 1? It's still a lot of eyes. It's still a lot of eyes. So.
Was it more important to get to 1 million? Sam said that the first million was the most exciting time. Like I remember specifically, it was, I don't know if it was 2002 or 2001, whatever. Like they started live streaming, showing them going over, like hitting 1 million and then quickly going over it because it was that exciting for them. I don't remember you guys streaming getting into 1 million, but that seems like it'd be like, no offense to those that have multiple kids, mine included, but like that first one is some kind of a life changer. So maybe getting to that first million is also something similar.
It was, it was important to us, but we didn't really just watch every day to try to see when it happened. We knew that it was going to happen. We just could kind of tell from the trajectory of it, but we didn't care. We just still kept making content. And I think, you see, like, you have these big numbers, but if you look at how many actual views on the content you're getting, you can kind of gauge how many people are really, really watching what you're doing. And so as long as, like, we drop a video and it's getting, 100,000 plus every single piece of content we drop, we're pretty happy. So we kind of have this bar that we're looking at. Like, we want to stay relevant enough to where we're always getting 100,000 views on any video we drop. We feel like that's doing pretty good. So
it seemed like there was a lot of collaboration going on over the last 2 to 3 years, a lot of big names in their particular niche of YouTube combining with somebody else that was some kind of a cook and doing a show together. Were you ever interested in trying to get a lot of those in to see if that was something that might help not only your views, but whoever else you'd be collaborating with?
I've done a few things like that where I've had guests come on and we do cooks and stuff like that. It's something that it's fun, but it's challenging with people's schedules and stuff like that. I mean, I think it's great anytime you can get, 2 people together and you're both helping each other because it's benefiting both people. And I look to start doing probably some more stuff like that as we're starting to play around with lives, and because I never really did lives. And I'm kind of, taking a note from you, the way you do your podcast, it's live every week. I want to start, incorporate. It's not really going to be a podcast style. I think it just wants to be hanging out and cooking something. But I think it's just another avenue of some way to see content where it's not just geared towards a single recipe. It's just hanging out, talking, answering questions, stuff like that.
So what does that look like from a production standpoint? You got to invest in a couple different camera shots, and you got to get you have the smokehouse, you have a lot of the stuff that most people don't have to get in there, but there still is a production aspect that you have to take into account.
Yeah, and that's like last week we did one on Saturday on TikTok for the first time. We did like an hour. I cooked some chicken wings on the Weber grill, and I just sit there and talked, and it was great. The only, I just had Rochelle there with the cell phone. That was the great thing about TikTok is it's kind of raw, but I really want the YouTube feel to feel like that too. I don't want it to feel overly produced. I want it to feel like, man, I'm sitting there watching this guy and he's just using his phone, and I could do this if I wanted to. Maybe it'll inspire somebody else to start up. And it's really, the production isn't that much. It's not edited. It's kind of real. It's almost like watching a reality show kind of that you're interacting with instead of just watching on TV.
Will you promote when you're going live? Like, do you want to do one a month or one a week?
That's how we're scheduled it so far. We've kind of got certain dates. Most of them are on the weekends. That's just where we have time to do it. So, the last one was like 5:00 on Saturday evening. It was just a good time. So we're going to try to, and then we will definitely start putting the word out. We're going to do it on our podcast. That's the best way we get our word out to people is on the, the How to Barbecue Right podcast. And be looking for those. I'd like, man, if you want to come on there sometime and jump on a live with me, that'd be fun.
Like on TikTok?
We're going to play around with that too. Yeah, there's like split screen stuff you can do. And now, this is Tyler's job. That's what he's got to figure out how we do it. but I think it's a great way, to get somebody else on there to get a different take on things and also to help promote them, bring them up.
What was your big crest number when you were doing a chicken wing cook?
Oh man, I don't know. It was going so fast. I mean, it was
hundreds,
there was
thousands.
Yeah. Oh no, there was. Yeah, I think it was well over 20-something thousand people was on it at one time.
20,000 people.
Yeah.
Holy
yeah. But if you look
crap.
at TikTok, man, there's hundreds of thousands of people live on it at any given time. I mean, there's people that just stay live on TikTok. So it's definitely going. And I think a lot of these channels are wanting you. They're giving you more, I guess, space in the algorithm or whatever if you go live more. It's like they want you to be live. And so I'm just going to give them what they want.
Well, I have heard outside of the cooking sector that one of the most popular things in TikTok, and then I don't know if it's in China, whatever app they got over there, not necessarily a TikTok competitor, but just some social app, video app. They are really big into the live on social media shopping. So I'm thinking how to barbecue right, like QVC. So, 10 minutes, you do like cooking portion, and then you like stroll over to the other side, and here's the how to barbecue right rubs, and you got a link somewhere, and you can start amassing a small fortune there, and then you stroll back over and do some other cooking stuff, and you go back over, and now you're selling wingman T-shirts and all this other stuff. So evidently, and like you said, they want you to stay on for hours on end. They're happy to give you the room, and these people are making a killing.
Absolutely. I mean, I guess that's how they sell it to their advertisers for all the views that's on it. It's keeping people on their platforms in a time where everybody's scrolling now. I guess holding those eyes to it really works. But, I don't want to just stay just on TikTok. We're going to play around with the YouTube and Facebook too. So we're going to try to do it on all the platforms and just kind of spread it out, see which ones, because we got people that watch us on all of it.
20,000 live views at any point is a huge number. So that's something you definitely want to tap into without question. Now, changing gears a little bit. On your show, on the How to Barbecue Right podcast, you were answering a question from either community or a listener submitted or whatever about competition briskets and the aesthetic that a competition brisket is giving right now versus a traditional packer. And you're way off competitions, certainly a lot further off than you used to be back in the day. What do you think the state of competition barbecue is these days across all sanctioning bodies and platforms? Where do you think it is?
From my standpoint, it doesn't feel as big as it once was. And I think it really happened after COVID didn't help. And then with prices as high as they are, it's like there got to a point where competition kind of peaked. And now it feels like, just from what I'm seeing and what I'm hearing, is that it's fell off some. I mean, there's a lot of contests, especially in our area in the Mid-South, that are just gone.
Yeah.
And I'm talking contests that had been there for 20 plus years, that they're just, these little towns aren't doing them anymore. And even in our town in Hernando, they've completely dropped. I kept it going for a couple of years, And then when we kind of backed out, it dropped off and they just let it go. They just don't see any value in it from what it cost them now because of how expensive things is. So yeah, I mean, I think it's competition. I don't want to say it's on the decline, but it's not near as good a state as it was in at one point.
I feel like we might almost be past a reprisal of competition barbecue. It was, as you said, so very popular. It was on TV a lot. There were new TV shows through various different cooking channels and media outlets that were getting tossed up to see what it seemed like. Almost this was the jewel that we were all going to try and take advantage of and throw it up against the wall, see what sticks. And it all stuck, and then it all fell off the wall, and then pandemic certainly. But I think even maybe not well before the pandemic, but the dirty secret about competition barbecue that I was hearing from a lot of the pitmasters, because remember, the beginnings of this show, many would have called this the Barbecue Central competition show, because if I had 3 or 4 guests during the course of a show, 3 or 4 guests might have been pitmasters coming off a weekend of competition at varying locations across the country, talking about how that event went for them, blah, blah, blah. And it is well changed over the last handful of years. But the point I was trying to make was the dirty secret that everybody was talking about was, hey, this isn't cheap anymore. You have to buy, or it feels like you have to buy heritage breed pork and Wagyu beef, and you got to have this kind of a toy hauler or this kind of an offset smoker. And if you're not making pretty decent living and everybody in your family is into that hobby and that's where the money's getting sunk, like you don't also have money to go on vacation or maybe feed the kids that week because you spent all the money chasing ass, keeping up with the Joneses. And I think so that was something that snowball was already down the hill, then couple in a pandemic, and then whatever you want to say about how certain sanctioned bodies are being run right now. I think we're past the time where it could see a golden age yet again.
Yeah. I don't think less people are cooking. The barbecue as a whole is great. I mean, there's more people into cooking in their backyard now than there ever has been.
Yeah.
And so, from a business standpoint, the state of barbecue is in great shape. But the competition side, I mean, everything you said is true. It's just, and maybe it's just the ebb and flow of it. I just happened to be in it at a great time where it was really on an uptick, and it was the thing to do, and it was mainstream. It brought, competition barbecue kind of brought barbecue as a whole mainstream with TV, with everything that we saw. But I think it's just part of it. That's how it's going.
Can I put you on hold for a second and then we can pick back up?
Absolutely.
Yeah, all right, stand by. We're talking with Malcom Reed right here from How to Barbecue Right. If you're not subscribed to his YouTube channel, you're probably new to barbecue just this very night. HowToBBQRight.com is his website. Let's see here. 0 participants there. I forgot to mention, I do have the Zoom call-in link tonight working. I think. It does appear to be working. So if you want to click that in the YouTube chat, if you want to jump in, if you got a question for Malcom, I could probably figure out how to mix that in, at least the audio. Yours to take advantage if you want. Hey, what do we love about ceramic cookers? We love that they're fuel efficient. We love that you can achieve low and slow temperatures for traditional barbecue meats. We love that you can get rip-roaring hot for the high-temperature grilling of steaks and other thin cuts. But what's missing in the everyday lineup of ceramic cookers? The real ability to do true two-zone cooking. Two-zone cooking is very important to both professional and backyard cooks alike. It's the best way to manage a fire and cook with confidence. However, getting a two-zone fire and a round ceramic cooker is not very realistic. Why? Because it's round. Enter Primo in the game-changing oval design. Shape gives you the ability to execute a two-zone setup that you desire, also giving you those other ceramic grill benefits as well. And when you break it down, there's more than 60 different ways to configure the Primo cooker to cook on, so you're only limited by your culinary imagination. All the accessories you want as well, rotisserie kits, pizza inserts, and much, much more. And more to come here in 2025. Stay tuned for that. The bottom line is this. They got the best ceramics in the biz. They have patented technology. They have true two-zone cooking capabilities and multiple sizes of ovals. What's the catch? Only sold through dealers, which is not that much of a catch. So go to primogrill.com, find a dealer near you, and then check out the ovals. Buy which one best fits your needs and your budget. But don't buy down. Always buy up. That's what I say. primogrill.com, longtime sponsor of this show, and we'll be back with more Malcolm Reed right after this.
You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show. Howard Stern, Jim Rome, Dan Patrick, and Greg Rempe. The Mountain Rushmore of talk show entertainment. Now, let's get back to the Barbecue Central Show.
And we welcome you back. This portion of the show being brought to you by Pit Barrel Cooker, the most unbelievable outdoor cooking device on the planet. Available in 3 sizes with a host of accessories. Doesn't matter if you're a beginner or a professional. It's a cooker you want to add to the arsenal. Visit pitbarrelcooker.com and tell them the Barbecue Central Show sent you, and we are... Just changed my ears there for a second. We are joined once again by our pal Malcolm Reed from How to Barbecue Right. A lot of people in the instant chat appreciating the conversation that you and I are having here this evening, Malcolm, so love to hear that. If you had to pick one, as we are tying up this competition talk, would you do a KCBS contest or an SCA contest or a competition pizza contest or the Rib Alliance competition contest?
I'm going to say KCBS.
Yes?
Just because I get to cook all 4 categories. Yeah. You got to.
That seems to be... So cooking 4 seems to be losing favor amongst the general population. Doing one, like KCBS came out with the single meat competitions. Of course, Rib Alliance, if that's what it's called. I apologize if I'm missaying the rib, whatever it is, but the Rib Competition Alliance. Obviously, that's only ribs. That seemed to be doing very popular, especially last year. I think they had their national championship toward the end of the year last year. What do you think about SCA? Is that falling off a little bit, or is there still some heat there?
There's still some heat there. There's still a lot of people into it, man. There's, what I liked about them were they were 1-day events. And I think that's why the single category stuff is popular with people, because of the cost of investment, the cost of time. Like, KCBS, you're going to spend a weekend doing it. And then that doesn't even lead up to the prep and everything you got to do before it. So there's a lot more work to me that goes into a KCBS. But I enjoy the cooking, because I always cook with my brother, and then I always got to see my buddies, and we were hanging out, and there was a 2-day thing. We had a lot of fun. SCAs are quick, and I hadn't done one of the rib cook-offs yet, just a single rib cook-off. I've heard about them. They seem to be doing pretty well, but I think there's still some buzz going on the SCA for sure.
That guy from Mr. Brisket, his competition box seems to continue to build in interest and popularity. So you call, which is a company over in Cleveland Heights, more or less, and say, hey, I want the competition box. You get a certain number of already trimmed thighs, chicken thighs. You get ribs already done. You get a pork butt that's already parted out, and a brisket that's competition trimmed. Now, maybe you might further clean it up if you get it, but appears 90 to 95% of the work might be done, and there's some teams out there that are winning with it. I thought that might be something to get people, give a little bit more time at home, doing home things during the week, and instead of taking Wednesday, Thursday to prep all the meat before you leave to go somewhere Friday, and maybe you leave on Thursday. But that's something that I thought was unique to the industry.
I always thought that was a great idea back in the day. It would have saved me so much time sourcing everything in one place, and they trim it for you. It's ready to go. All you got to do is go cook. And I've heard good things about it. That Mr. Brisket's been around a minute. I know he was just selling briskets, back years ago, but now just taking it to that next level, it's making it easy for the guy that just don't want to take the time to go source everything, trim everything, package it, and then bring it to a contest. It's a good idea. I don't know what the costs are. I'm sure it's not cheap.
Well, you're always paying for convenience, right?
Yep, that's right.
Short of RecTech giving you one, would you ever buy a wood pellet fired griddle?
Yeah, I'm interested to see one. That's a pretty cool idea. I love my griddle. I'm a flat top guy.
Yeah.
So it's fun to cook on. And I think if the technology was there and it worked good, that would be the whole thing. I wouldn't have a problem buying one.
Here's my only concern. As I had mentioned last week, I don't know how many people are thinking about this that bought it. And I always forget what the name is. Smokestone, I think, is the name of that thing from RecTech. Cooking pellets. So let me preface this by saying maybe I'm wrong on this. And if I am, please forgive me. But I believe you probably want to use cooking grade wood pellets in order to fire this, although there's no holes in the steel or the griddle top or anything like that. It's just being fired by wood pellets. In that instance, I would at least want to read the directions or know maybe I can go buy home heating wood pellets and use. So now that 40-pound bag is like $4 at Menards and it becomes way more cost approachable to fire it. But let's hold that off to the side in case I'm incorrect in thinking you might be able to use it. If you go to cooking pellets, now we're talking $1 a pound, and to keep that thing at 450 or 500 degrees open seems to become a lot more cost ineffective.
Yeah, I would think so. Propane would still probably be your better choice from a wallet standpoint, what it's going to cost you. I don't know if you're going to get any of the flavor from it or not, because it's not like you're relying on that to cook the meat that you're cooking on. You're just using it to heat up the steel or, whatever the surface is made out of. So I don't know. That's a good reason to look at them right there, especially if you could get by with that cheaper fuel option, because I could see that being effective.
Yeah. I use that in my timber stove wood pellet heater. I buy those just home heating pellets and they're super cheap. They burn pretty well, and I don't think twice about just dumping every couple hours another 4 or 5 pounds or whatever it is into the hopper. That thing works great, by the way. If you're looking for a not home but outside heating alternative to the liquid propane heat umbrellas, I call them, Tyson Traeger, believe it or not, is his last name, and he makes a great wood pellet outdoor heater that is just incredible, especially when the wind isn't blowing. When the wind blows, all heaters suck outside, but of course we all know that. Holding the Weber kettle aside, Malcolm, what would be your next go-to cooker if you were just getting into live fire?
Wow, you always go to Weber, so
yeah,
you knew what I was going to say. You knew.
That's an easy answer.
Oh, man. I'd probably go with the drum, just getting into it. So it could be a pit barrel, it could be a gateway, it could be a homemade, whatever you like. I really love the flavor you get from them, and you do have to learn to build that fire and manage it in that thing. So, you're actually learning something too, but it's really fuel efficient. You don't use a ton of, charcoal in them or wood either. And the flavor that you get in the meat's phenomenal. I mean, once you learn how to run the thing, man, it's fantastic. So I'd probably pick a drum.
Here's a question to Malcolm Reed. True or false, Gateway drum smokers sold to Smoking Brothers recently?
I heard a rumor. I don't know how true it is or not, but I heard that rumor for sure.
True.
After the Smoking Brothers contest.
100% true, believe it or not.
Yeah.
I can't believe.
Well, I heard that Tim was there at the Smoking Brothers contest thing. And rumor got kind of circulated a little bit, and they got back to me, and so yeah.
Yeah. A little business was done there. So happy for Tim getting out of that portion of the business if he wasn't into it. I thought I didn't even think about barrels, to be honest. I was thinking biting the bullet and getting a ceramic cooker. Now, I'm partial to the Primo, of course. I know you're partial to Primo as well. Love the shape. But I'm thinking just getting into it, why not jump in with both feet? Talk about fuel efficient. Primo, or any ceramic for that matter, is probably twice as efficient as any barrel cooker is going to be because of the material it's made out of. And then I call it the 2 cookers in one. Now, certainly you could say the Weber kettle is multiple cookers in one. A ceramic cooker, definitely multiple cookers in one. You can obviously achieve low and slow temperature with relative ease. And then you can obviously open up top and bottom vents and get that thing 700 degrees plus. And now you're doing all kinds of high heat grilling. You're doing pizza oven stuff if you want to do it. So for the price tag that might make most men pass out up front, you do have something that's going to last a long time and allows you a lot of versatility when you buy it.
Yeah, and that was like when you said just getting into, that's kind of what I was thinking budget in mind. Because the average guy is probably not going to drop that $1,000 or a little more to buy that XL. But I have found myself, like, and you've probably seen it in some of my videos, why you think I'm cooking. I mean, I've got a little deal with Primo. They sponsor our podcast and stuff, and they gave me that XL, and they brought me one of the big ones. But I find myself going to that XL probably more than anything just because I like the way it cooks, man. It's perfect for me. The 2-zone setup on it, I mean, like you said, I can smoke off to the side, keep those temps low. If I want to rip it, sear something, it's there. And it's just easy. The heat control's great. And, man, I've kind of fell in love with that oval design.
What I have found crazy, especially on the longer cook, so, rib cook or longer, the environment inside the Primo, and maybe it's just the ceramics. I haven't really had any other dealings with any other ceramic cookers, but what I noticed, especially on the ribs, if I was going to go out and spray like I would do every hour on a pellet cooker, for instance, there's no need for spray. That environment inside the Primo is as humid as it gets.
I think it's holding the moisture in is what it is. Like you think that a pellet grill, for instance, is moving so much air in it that it just wants to dry. It wants to dehydrate the tops of stuff. And it's just the nature of a pellet grill. Well, that Primo is really fighting to hold the heat down the whole time. So you're getting that humid environment in there. And so you don't have to, and I found you don't have to use as much wood for smoke flavor either. It does a fantastic job putting the right amount of smoke on it at low temps.
Have you eaten all the bison meat yet?
No, and I still got to send you some, man. I apologize, Greg. I'm horrible.
Yeah, what the hell? Come on, how can we talk about it when I can't eat it?
I'm getting you. It may come in a HelloFresh box, but it's going to come from me, and it's
yeah. I'll keep an eye out.
It's going to be bison that I took from North Dakota. I'm going to send you some, man. I know exactly. I've got it in my freezer here at the office. I just got to get it in the mail to you. So I'm making that happen. I'm putting that on my to-do list.
How much?
It's coming.
How much is left over?
Oh man, we still got a ton. And I've cooked so once a month I go to a wild game dinner, and it's this group of guys I hang out with. And so we did 30 pounds of ground and 20 pounds of ossobuco last night for that dinner. And there was like 50 of us there, and we did, and so we have a chef comes in that prepares it and everything. And we just get to enjoy it as long as we provide the protein. So I brought the bison, and I still have, I don't know how much, man. It's a freezer full. I mean, it was a freezer full of meat. So
would you say
I've got enough to last
hundreds of pounds left?
Oh yeah, easy.
Wow,
hundreds. Yeah,
hundreds.
Of ground. It's mainly ground.
Yeah,
but the ground you're gonna be impressed by it, man. The ground is juicy. It's not fatty at all. It doesn't. It's not a real fatty meat. It's lean, but it still has a lot of moisture in it. It's really, really good.
Hot topic that I'm seeing around social media lately, and it doesn't seem to discriminate between barbecue or fine dining or whatever, is tipping. Like what you would give to a waiter or waitress or different scenarios you're being asked. What's your take on tipping if you're sitting down at a restaurant?
I'm 20. I did that, so I know what it's like to work for tips. So I heavily believe in it. I know those people aren't paid a fair wage at most places. If all of a sudden when you're a tipped employee, they don't have to pay you minimum wage. They have to pay you the tipped rate. And so those people that are doing those jobs depend on it. And I'm all for it, man. I always tip a standard tip, and then if the service goes above what I think's above and beyond, I add a little more. I don't mind doing that. I think you pay for the service.
If a bellhop is running bags to your hotel room, how much do you tip?
$2 a bag.
$2 a bag. That's correct, by the way.
I did that too. I did that. You probably didn't know that. I did that for about 4 years when I was in college.
The only thing I remember about Malcolm growing up is that he was once in a Pizza Hut. They closed it down and did WWF wrestling in the pizza. That's like one of my favorite things I've ever come to know about Malcolm Reed. Do you tip anywhere?
I'll say this: the
bellhop
is probably one of the best jobs I have ever had. You talk about meeting people and being the connection. Everybody likes the bellman. You know what's going on everywhere.
Ever
if
meet
you need something? Just talk.
Any meet anybody famous?
Oh yeah, so I worked at 2 casinos in Tunica, Mississippi, and they had shows. So I did we did all of the stars that came and played at the casinos. So I got to meet a ton of them.
Do you tip anywhere you don't
to meet
sit down
Vander
at?
Holyfield.
Before wait, let's back up.
Yeah, Sonic. How about Sonic? I always tip the car hop at Sonic.
You met Evander Holyfield. Was this pre or post ear bite?
I think it was right at, because did he bite the ear in Memphis? I can't remember. It's been a long time ago.
Yeah, long.
But it was one of their big fights where they were staying. They fought at the Pyramid in Memphis, and Evander's camp was staying at the Samstown where I was working.
Is he a pretty down to earth guy that you remember?
They real down to earth, really cool. So he talked to us. I mean, he didn't. I mean, I wouldn't say he hung out down in the lobby of the hotel. The LT did. I saw LT get down on his hands and knees and beg a woman to go to dinner with him one night right in front of me.
Yeah, I was gonna say you saw him get on his hands and knees and then do a rail off the floor. Of course.
I think it was in those days.
Oh yeah, I bet it was. I didn't know where we were going to be going with that. All right, let's go back to my other question here. Do you tip anywhere that you don't sit down at?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I tip a couple bucks at Sonic to the car hop that brings out your fast food. I don't know, man. To me, if I got a few bucks on me, I'll tip. You know, I know what it's like. I know what that means to somebody that's actually working for a tip. I mean, if it can make somebody's day better, and it's not taxing me, I think I know what it's like. I know what it's like to appreciate that, that cash you're bringing home at the end of the day.
True or false? Hot honey is the most important condiment to have become available on the market in the last 10 years.
No, it's not the most important, but it's all right.
It seems to be very popular the last couple of years, finding its way onto everything as the topping that is going to separate whatever your signature dish is from everybody else.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen it a lot. I started using it. I thought it's the Mike's Hot Honey that showed up in our grocery stores.
Yeah,
and it's pretty good. I mean, could you achieve that with regular honey and spicing it up? Yeah, probably. But it's not bad.
Can hot honey be overused, both from an on-food application, but also just as a use case scenario?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think it's you were talking about trends earlier. It's one of those that's kind of trending, and is it going to stick around? I doubt it. I mean, it'll probably run its course.
Would you rather have it on your fried chicken or your pepperoni pizza?
I had never had it on either one of those, so I'd probably go fried chicken, maybe.
Oh, Malcolm, where are you living? Under a rock? I mean, it's all over pizza everywhere. You can't go to any pizza place without finding Mike's Hot Honey on the top of at least half the pies available. And KFC's putting Mike's Hot Honey on some chicken. Maybe it's Popeyes. I'm seeing the commercial all over the place, but you just can't get away from it. It seems like this is the hot condiment.
Yeah, sriracha sauce, was it kind of like that? It run its fad too, so you don't see it as much anymore.
Yeah, I almost feel like that one has grown into whatever its life is now going to be post-popular. It's probably in a lot of people's spice cabinet or condiment cabinet. I don't know how often they're reaching for it like they did 10 years ago, but I think it has found its rightful place amongst ketchups and mustards and stuff like that.
Yeah, the one I don't think ranch dressing's going anywhere. I think it's stuck. Everybody likes ranch.
Not everybody.
Not everybody.
I did like ranch when I was 7, and then my palate expanded, and blue cheese became a little bit more on par for me. Of course, blue cheese only with buffalo wings. Do we agree on that?
Yeah, I mean, I could do it on a little charcuterie board with the meats and stuff. Just a little, not a little bit. It's potent, but Rochelle's got me on the blue cheese stuffed olives, doing like
delicious
a dirty martini with it. Yeah.
Now,
so it works there too.
We've broached a whole different subject here. When we use the term martini, we should only be talking about gin. Yes?
Oh.
No?
I'm a vodka martini man. Yeah. Yeah.
Martini's only made with gin. Remember that, Malcolm, and you'll get far in this life.
Okay.
Do you not like gin? Does that make you go like crazy if you drink it? Yeah.
No, gin's cool. Gin's okay. I just, I'm kind of partial to vodka too.
Yeah, no doubt. Malcolm, what else do you have going on before I let you go? And I appreciate the extended time tonight.
Oh yeah, man. No, we're just gearing up for spring and content on our end. I've got to judge a little contest here locally this weekend. That's what I'm going to be doing. It's like it's like a local waste pro management people have their district contest in South Haven. That's the town I'm originally from. Mm-hmm. I got asked to come back to run up there and judge it for them, and then they're doing their national contest, I think, in Nashville. I'm not going to make that one, but we've got that going on, and just business as usual, man. Getting ready for springtime. Here we are in March.
No doubt.
Years rolling by. So as you always say, it'll be, Thanksgiving, end of the year before we know it.
No doubt. Malcolm Reed is right here. You can find him first Tuesday of the month, 14 past the first hour, and you found him all hour here in March, which we certainly appreciate. Malcolm, always appreciate the time, and we'll see you in April.
See you in April, Greg. Have a good one, man.
Take care. Malcolm Reed right there. Class act, star, and content provider extraordinaire, weighing in on any and all topics, which I certainly appreciate. And I agree with so to me, we're going to compare sriracha and hot honey, where we talked about sriracha now having a defined place in the pantry somewhere. I could easily see hot honey going away. Gone. Do I have a bottle of Mike's Hot Honey? Yes. Have I had a bottle of Mike's Hot Honey? Yes. That one is hot. Not pepper, or not ghost pepper jerky hot. Some of you might get that reference. But much sizably hotter, markedly hotter than the regular Mike's Hot Honey. So if you're somebody that likes a little face melting, Mike's Extra Hot Honey is the one you want to check out. But I could see that just going away completely and honey reemerging as the only honey. Just honey. All right, let's wrap up the first hour. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Continuing to produce incredibly mediocre content in an exceptionally professional way. You're listening and watching the Barbecue Central Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
And we thank Malcolm Reed for joining us for not one, but two segments. HowToBBQRight.com, his website, which you can also link over and subscribe to his YouTube channel if you're not, but 1.82 million of you are. Also, KillerHogs.com, if you want to check out what he's up to on the competition side of things. HowToBBQ on all social media. Malcolm, widely considered to have some of the best rubs on the market, sauces. We just tried his sugar-free sauce. Army Steve and I tried his sugar-free sauce the other day. We were highly impressed. Next up, the Smoke Shop's mustard-based sauce and the Sweet Victory sauce. So look forward to that. Anyway, we are pointing to the second hour. If you're just joining us and you missed two segments with Malcolm Reed, this will be on podcast tomorrow on Wednesday. And you will find Thursday's podcast for hour number 2. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that here in a few moments. Be sure to head on over to the YouTube channel where you can participate in the YouTube poll question of the week. We'll talk about that as well and give you some updates. You're listening and watching the Barbecue Central Show right here on the Barbecue Central Network. Stick around. We'll be right back.